I don't know if people have tried food logging, but why do we log food? It's because we want to find out this information about what we're eating. Obviously, we have scores in Food Facts, which is great, but on its own, it's not necessarily helpful. So we mentioned earlier, if all I ever eat was salt, that's a bad thing. But if I have an appropriate amount of salt for my own personal needs, then that could be a good thing. So the quantity is important. And also when I eat my food. I expect all of you are enjoying your sugar crash after your crumble. So when you eat also has a big influence on how it affects you. So these are the reasons why we might want to log what we eat. But it's really hard. It's really, really hard to log your food because it's painful. It takes ages. You've got to search for it, scan the barcode, work out the quantity. Is it a pinch or a teaspoon or I don't know, 2 mushrooms? What's that? I don't know. Figuring out the size. You go out to eat in a restaurant. I've no idea what I just ate. So it's really, really difficult to log what you eat. So potentially that means it's ripe for innovation. Someone's going to come up with lots of clever ways that will make this a lot easier for us, hopefully. The other thing, too far. The other thing is we want to use that data. But analyzing the data is hard because everybody has a different opinion about what is good. People, fat is good, fat is bad, counting calories. There's lots of more new information about the gut microbiome and how important that is. So new science is always coming along. So just because something was good today doesn't mean it's a good analysis tomorrow. So this is all changing all the time. You have your own personal circumstances. You might have a health condition. So it's going to be very personalized to you. So this is all very complicated. If you're interested in it, not just for health, but maybe from the environment, again, different approaches to looking at the impact of the environment. And you might even want to start correlating your data. How is my diet correlating with how I'm feeling or what exercise I'm doing? What impact is that having? So all of this is also very hard. Now, I tried a food logging app. I'm not going to say which one it was because that's not important. And it was interesting. It told me some interesting things. And then my wife said to me, because we were worried about getting older and our bones, how much calcium are we getting? And the app didn't tell me that. But I knew I'd be logging all this information. I knew I could go and find a database like CCAL, and I could look at what I'd been logging and see how much calcium we've been eating. So I went to the people who make the app, and I said, can I have my data, please? And they said, well, you can have a screenshot. That wasn't really what I was looking for. And I looked at other apps that do this sort of thing, and it's very similar. I mean, sometimes you get a premium version if you're really lucky, where they have an export, but you don't know what format that's going to be in. But most of them don't let you get your own data. I mean, maybe I needed to do a formal GDPR request, but I still don't know what format I'm going to get the data in. So, what are the chances that I find an app that's perfect for my lifestyle, for logging food the way I want to, that happens to be the same app that analyzes my food in the way I want to? So we have this expression that pigs might fly. I don't know if that translates. And it's not just that I want this now, it might change. So just because I choose this app today doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the right app for me tomorrow. So how do we fix it? So this is the idea that you have open, private data. This is my data, but I own it and I choose who I share it with. So I don't know if you guys have seen this kind of thing before, where an app might want to access your Google Drive, and so you get this little pop-up that says, this app wants to store its data in your drive. Is that okay? So you could have something similar that says, this food logging app would like to access your food diary. Is that okay? And then I can go to this analysis application and say, do you want to access my food diary? Yes, that's okay. And if I want to, I could share that information with the research authority, or I could choose it to be anonymized, or I could choose it to be personal. So I could choose exactly what I want to do. And so the way you do this is using a technology called OAuth. It's been around quite a long time, but that's the technical thing that's happening when it asks you that question. And something like Keycloak is a system we're currently implementing at Open Food Facts to manage users in a more kind of modern way. So, we've got potentially the tools that could help support that. So that's my kind of mission, is if we are going to think about food logging, let's not just make an app. Let's think about a data standard and a way that that data can be shared. Because I think Open Food Facts has thrived because of the community and because it's open and because people can share the data. And so if we can build that, then it becomes open to everybody. And this is a quote I managed to find one food logging person, and I asked them if they did an export, and they said they didn't. But they did say that to me. I didn't get their permission to give the quote, so I'm not saying who it was. But I think the key thing there is the last bit. They would support something that came from Open Food Facts, so we have the credibility to pull something like this off. So yeah, that was my talk.